Welcome to the Montana Natural Heritage Program. The program was created in 1983 to be Montana's source for reliable and objective information on Montana's native species and habitats, emphasizing those of conservation concern. In short, we track information on what species and habitats are present in the state, where they occur in the state, and how they are doing here. We do this to provide a common set of information to everyone, inform environmental review and permitting and planning processes, and allow informed decisions to be made quickly in order to save time and money and avoid litigation. Today, the program manages tabular and spatial information on over 18,000 different species and habitats. If you are an environmental consultant, business, private organization, or private citizen looking for an environmental summary report with information on species and habitats of conservation concern that is required for environmental review, permitting, or planning processes across Montana, you should click on the Request Data button here. Before discussing information on this page, I want to note that natural resource managers and government agencies can self-serve environmental summary reports from our Map Viewer web application by creating an account and receiving elevated permissions. On this page, there are a variety of background information on environmental summary reports, including an example environmental summary report, a video on how to interpret and use environmental summary reports, agency contacts and additional information resources that can guide you through the variety of permitting and planning processes around the state, and contacts to natural resource managers who can assist you with those efforts. All requests for environmental summary reports and all requests to the Heritage Program are confidential. They're protected under the Montana Library Records Confidentiality Act. Before you click the Submit Request button, note the text I'm highlighting here can help guide you through the web page that you'll be taken to and creating an Okta account. So after you've clicked on it, there'll be your base window on data request will still be open, and you can follow that step by step. On the left side of the page, you'll note a navigation menu to all of our web pages. We'll click on Home to get back. On your phone, that navigation menu is under this hamburger symbol, and you can use it to navigate again to all of our web pages. Under our Explore Data tab, you'll see our primary web applications that include the Montana Field Guide, Map Viewer, our dashboards and tools, our species snapshot, and our species of concern report. On the Montana Field Guide, you can see information on individual species and habitats. One way to find this information is to drill down taxonomically. So if we go to vertebrates and birds and loons, we can select common loon and see information on common loon. All of the accounts for species and habitats have photos of the species and habitat, a summary of their conservation status at the global and state scale, whether they're a state species of concern or habitat of concern, audio samples, why a species has a conservation status rank that it does in terms of its rarity, the threats that it faces, or the trends in its population, including a detailed conservation status report, general descriptive information, diagnostic characteristics, the range in Montana or the global range, observations across Montana, basic maps on that, as well as elevational profiles and the time of year that these species are reported by both by month and also by year. Migration, habitat, links to the habitats that the species is known to use, food habits, ecology, reproductive characteristics, management, and what entities are responsible for the habitat that these species are known to use or rely on under this stewardship responsibility section, as well as literature for the species. Also in the field guide, There are separate guides for animals, plants, fungi, invasive and pest species, and ecological communities. The invasive and pest species guide has separate guides for aquatic invasive species, noxious weeds. That includes separate guides for the different classes of state-listed noxious weeds, as well as noxious weeds that are listed by individual counties in Montana. Under the Ecological Communities Guide, there are accounts for different habitat types under these various major categories: alpine, forest and woodland, shrubland, grassland, sparse and barren, wetland riparian, open water, as well as recently disturbed habitats like those that have been killed by insects or have been recently burned in wildfires, and human land uses. As an example, if we look at a forested and woodland type, and we can see the basic distribution of Great Plains ponderosa pine, forest and woodland, and a photo for it. These accounts are very similar to the individual species accounts. Back to our Explore Data tab. Our Map Viewer web application provides spatial and tabular data and summaries for areas of interest for habitats, including land cover, wetland riparian, also for land management and information on species, as well as the overall biodiversity in Montana. There is a separate set of training videos for Map Viewer. Note the link here at the top for a general introduction and the video playlist. And on each of these question marks in each individual task in Map Viewer, there's an introductory video and a step-by-step how to use PDF for each individual task. It's useful for someone who's using this application regularly to create an account by clicking on the sign in, create account, and then entering a user profile. Natural resource managers with agency level emails will be given higher level access to allow them to create environmental summary reports directly. Back to the Explore Data tab. Our dashboards and tools section includes various information summaries for native species, non-native species. There's agricultural and industry tools for the forest industry for meeting their sustainable forestry initiative standards, for the grazing community, tools for counties, and then beaver restoration tools. Under our species snapshot, you can create summaries for areas, different areas in the state. We'll pick county, different species. We'll pick birds. And for different status types, we'll pick species of concern. And you can get a list of species in this case, Beaverhead County. So 50 bird species of concern in Beaverhead County. A list of those species with links to our field guide, models, and Map Viewer. And you can also download that list to Excel and download a custom field guide that contains all 50 species, but those are limited accounts. They are not the full accounts that you would see on the individual field guide, but there is a link to the field guide accounts themselves. Back to the Explorer Data tab. There's our species of concern report, which includes lists of our species of concern in Montana and why they are listed that way. Back to our homepage, under additional or under our collect and submit data tab, there are links to various methods to submit data to us, including Survey 123 forms that we have developed. And on our iNaturalist Citizen Science page, You'll see links to various citizen science efforts across Montana that contribute data to the Montana Natural Heritage Program. We highlight iNaturalist as a smartphone application that you can use to submit data anywhere you go in the state. But there are also links to eBird, the Montana Invasive Species Council's reporting page, WildSpotter, and then various citizen science programs and Montana Master Naturalist programs in the state, where you can learn more about species and habitats through those Master Naturalist programs. Under our additional resources, we have a whole variety of additional resources for zoology, botany, ecology. Under our models section, we have models, predicted habitat suitability models for individual species, as well as overall predicted biodiversity across the state. We also have a page for reports that the Heritage Program zoologists, botanists, and ecologists have generated over the years, and links to related websites that might be useful to specifically natural resource managers. There's also a page linking you to other geographic information resources, that is GIS information resources here at the State Library, including the GIS data list, the Montana Spatial Data Infrastructure, and the Montana Water Information System. Finally, on our About Us section, you can learn more about staff and how to contact us. Here are partners that provide information to the Montana Natural Heritage Program and also use the information that we summarize. Learn more about our program areas. Again, zoology, botany, ecology, and our data managers here in our information services department. You can also learn about our program more from the announcements that we put out over time and how our program has been in the news. Thank you for your interest in the Montana Natural Heritage Program, and please contact us if you have additional questions.